As our ratings here at Newsmax have exploded, at least one of our competitors, and probably more, would love to cancel us right out of existence. CNN, the network that sold 30 years of broadcast credibility to destroy the Trump presidency, is outraged by Newsmax. Our sin? Interviewing members of the Trump legal team after the election and hearing their allegations of election fraud, while the mainstream media demanded that we all accept the Democrat consensus that it was the most fair election in the history of the universe. That's it. And whether the left likes it or not, we do have to say this election was not even remotely fair to incumbent President Donald Trump. Democrats changed some rules for voting with COVID as an excuse. Zuckerberg gave us the ballot drop boxes almost exclusively in liberal areas. And the media and tech companies conspired with the Democrats to heavily promote and protect Joe Biden while continuing their 4 straight years of assaulting and trashing Donald Trump in every possible way. We all know it's true. Even liberals openly admit that Biden got a total pass in this election, almost no scrutiny at all. But CNN, which is clearly moving from left-leaning to radical left authoritarian, now says we must not be allowed to exist any longer.
I told you guys that I went to Russia back when I was in high school. I was a kid, and I went to the Soviet Union. That's what it was back then. And I tell you, it was like right out of the movies. It was cold. It was dark. The KGB, no kidding, was following us around. You picked up the phone. You could tell somebody was listening in. And the media, well, on television, they only had one station, and it was owned, controlled, and censored by the state. Now, that's horrible, right? Folks at CNN, I think that kind of thing whets their appetite big time. What they're talking about right now is dangerous. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. I'll have more to say about that in just a bit. All right, I support the cops big time. I'm from a law enforcement family, but those cops have not only guns, but batons and stun guns and communications gear. And this is just yet another video of letting them all inside. Now, I've seen the struggles. We have as well, ugly scenes outside the Capitol, but too many of these moments that have not been sufficiently explained. What else? Have you seen this yet?
Hey! Man, glad to see you guys. You guys are f***ing patriots. Look at this guy. He's got covered in blood. God bless you.
Yes.
You good, sir? Do you need medical attention?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
I got shot in the face.
Where are they?
I got shot in the face with some kind of plastic bullet.
Any chance I could get you guys to leave the Senate wing?
We will. I've been making sure they ain't disrespecting the place.
Okay, just want to let you guys know this is like the sacredest place.
I know.
Hey, no, I'm gonna take a seat in this chair because Mike Pence is a traitor.
Well,
I'm not one to usually take pictures of myself, but in this case, I think I'm making an exception. Can you in the way? Can you take a picture of me? I'm throwing my phone.
I don't know about you. Back when I used to hang out in bars, I've been kicked out of bars with more aggressiveness by the bouncers than what this cop. I'm sure he has his orders, but what is happening here? That didn't look like much of a siege. Now, I know, Capitol, we saw some awful things, but this, so far, inexplicable. It goes on.
We love you and we thank you. In Christ's holy name we pray. Amen!
We support you guys, okay? We support you guys. And we appreciate what you're doing. We know you're doing your job.
Where's he going? I mean, look, easy for me to say I'm sitting here all comfortable evaluating these videos, but while those idiots were inside, did you see all the cops kind of just hanging out outside? What the heck happened? Now, good questions need to be asked of public officials. Now, I looked it up. Washington, D.C. is a city that surrounds the Capitol, okay? It's a city. The mayor down there is Muriel Bowser, okay? She's in charge of the police department, the Metropolitan Police Department, and a lot of those cops did a great job last Wednesday. But she has fundamental responsibility here, right? At least a portion of it. Why wasn't there a perimeter set up? What did she know? When did she know it? What about the National Guard? She was on Meet the Press. Those are questions that need to be asked, right? This is what happened yesterday.
It looks as if there is more security around the Capitol than we've seen for any other inauguration or any moment since 9/11. Is that a fair description? What level of threat do you think we're facing? And are you concerned that we're so secure in one place, they're going to find softer targets in other parts of the city? How long are we going to be living in a Washington, D.C. that feels like an armed camp? I mean, how long are we going to have to live this way? Because I assume these threats don't go away on January 20th.
Nothing was asked about what happened last week. Yes, we have a big event on Wednesday, but we just had the worst riot in recent memory, and no questions about that. She had a major role in securing the Capitol. Why no questions about that? There's something just totally odd. We have ostensibly smart people denying reality or refusing to look for the answers.
In just 3 days, Joseph Robinette Biden will take the oath of office, addressing America in crisis. Plagued by a pandemic, economic hardship, deeply divided, reeling from the most dramatic act of domestic terrorism our country has ever seen. All inspired by the president leaving office.
Wow, George has it all figured out, all inspired by the man leaving office. And did you hear that? The worst domestic terror incident in the history of the country. That's the narrative they want. This was the worst thing that ever happened to us. It was awful. It was terrible. But folks, we've been through a lot, right? How about the Oklahoma City bombing, anyone? 168 lives were lost that day. That, I believe, was the worst case of domestic terrorism that I know of. It's truly homegrown terrorism. But they're denying now a basic kind of history of our country. George said this, though, and I think he's on to something with this little description.
Head-swirling, mind-bending, surreal, and historic. We are living through a major moment in the life of our republic.
Mind-bending, surreal. Yes. Now you're on to something, George. Totally. Some of the things we're seeing right now and how the media are going about their business is mind-bending, is surreal. This was a moment from Congressman Raskin, who's been through a lot lately, but he's one of the impeachment managers if this thing ever gets to the Senate. Listen to what he said yesterday.
This was the most serious presidential crime in the history of the United States of America, the most dangerous crime by a president ever committed against the United States.
Ever committed against the United States. Ever. The most dangerous crime. Got it all queued up. Ready for the most dangerous thing that ever happened to America?
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Wow. You know, when I hear about presidential crimes, and this has been true for a long time, I think about FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who ordered Japanese Americans into essentially concentration camps during World War II. And we still have a great big highway named for FDR right here in New York City. What else?
3 more days. President Trump prepares to leave office, having caused the American carnage he railed against 4 years ago. After all the division, destruction, and death, what will his legacy be?
Hello, I'm Jake Tapper in Washington, where the State of our Union is on high alert because of the terrorists incited by the president.
Wow, he's figured it all out. He already has declared the president incited it. People possibly on Capitol Hill are going to struggle with this one if this impeachment fiasco ever comes forward. But that so-called straight news show, he has figured it all out. And the name of his show is State of the Union, i.e., This is how it is, and I'm going to tell you how it is. By the way, this is the Greg Kelly Report Show, all right? This is my view of things, and maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Jake is telling you this is the truth. He's telling you a lot of highly debatable things that he's portraying as open and shut. And it got worse a little bit later on that network.
We have to turn down the capability of these conservative influencers to reach these huge audiences. And then we're going to have to figure out the OANN and Newsmax problem. You know, that these companies have freedom of speech, but I'm not sure we need Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, and such to be bringing them into tens of millions of homes.
Who the hell is this guy telling you and me what we can watch at home? This is a real thing that they're trying to do because they don't agree with us and they don't agree with you about our very real and sincere concerns about what happened on Election Day in 2020. They write it off as a lie. They don't want to look there. They don't want to go there. They already know from the comfort of their studio everything that's going down, everything. They understand it, and they're going to tell you what's happening right now. The media elites are trying to reassert their elite status. They don't have that status, okay? They're just people with access to the same internet that you and I have, okay? Get over yourselves. Got one more example, though. And I knew this person, Allison Camerata. Nice person. A little bit taken away with herself, all right? Here's what she wrote. Got some buzz over there at CNN. I think at this point, the smartest thing the rest of us could do is no longer give warped Trump supporters, a platform and no longer lend them our ears. It's time to turn off their microphones. Now, that's the scary part, and that's why we highlighted it. It's time to turn off their, as if they have that power. Now, they don't, but they're trying to find a way to get it through cancel culture, through bullying, through corporate pressure. That's what they're attempting. And folks, they are dead wrong.